You are under arrest.
For what? Hurting your free wings?
You are a key witness.
No, he is.
Hey!
Officer Judy Hopps, the first bunny police officer in the city of Zootopia, is eager to make the world a better place. But as she begins her work, she starts to learn that the city is not what she expected, and the people who live there are not always what they seem like on the surface. The good. This story plays out like a buddy cop film with a really good mystery integrated into the plot, which allows the plot to move forward in a very organic fashion. Not to mention it's really satisfying whenever those dots are connected. Though it was comprised of a lot of celebrity actors, this movie had a dynamite voice cast. Jennifer Goodwin, Jason Bateman, Idris Elba, J.K. Simmons, Shakira. Nearly every character is structured well and feels like they have something driving them other than just their role in the story. And while it's true that some of the more minor characters fill caricature-like roles, they always do so in such a way that serves the story. In fact, one of my favorite parts about this movie is the fact that it reuses some of its minor characters rather than creating new minor characters for each individual situation. I feel that same sense of satisfaction as I do for when the mysteries come together, whenever I see these minor characters reappear throughout the movie. Sure, by creating new characters for each individual situation, they could have had different opportunities for different kinds of jokes. But by instead allowing previously established minor characters to come back and have more to do in the story, it gives them the slightest bit more dimension, and I love the movie for it. The strongest element about this movie are its themes, which are more intense than I expected. Using animal characters, this movie very intelligently covers the issue of people having perceptions about different groups of people based on their type or based on popular perceptions of those people, rather than judging people based on their individual character. It goes without saying, this is very topical with what's going on in our world right now. And through this movie, we are walking down the aisle of this issue, gaining a look at both sides and getting a more rounded perspective on the issue as a whole. And being a Disney movie, I'm really glad this one went for PG, because if it hadn't, I don't know if it could have included some of the things that they told in this story. And I think the way this story is constructed, it shows everything it needs to tackle this kind of issue in a movie. The iffy. I did not see this movie in 3D, so I can't vouch for whether it would be good. It's animation, and animation is usually very pretty to look at in 3D, especially good Disney animation. But this might be one of the movies that I just say go see it in 3D regardless, because I think it deserves that kind of money. The bad. Most of this boils down to nitpicks, but I feel like a couple of plot holes are created in this movie because our characters are just written into a situation where they're at a particular disadvantage where, in the real world, they would not have this obstacle up against them. And then there are just a couple moments in the movie where the jokes aren't quite as funny, they sometimes border on being really weird, and some of them just don't make sense. They can't all be perfect. The verdict? You know, it's very ironic. What I experienced with this movie, my first impressions of it, pretty much fell in line with the themes of this movie because I very much misjudged it. This movie is a few of the things that I expected. Funny, cute, something that the kids can watch and shut up for a couple hours. But you know what? It was a lot more than that. It was thought-provoking. It covered on some intense, very relevant issues of our modern world. It's intelligently written. It's emotionally engaging. Very easy to get invested in. It is rare that I find a movie experience that is quite as satisfying as the one I had watching Zootopia. This is Detective Steve, and check out this glowing crystal rhino thing. It's related to animals, it counts.